Morning. Welcome to Reading the Science of Mind in 1 Year. I'm Reverend Rafe Ellis, Senior Minister and Spiritual Leader of the Center for Spiritual Living Common Ground in Central Maryland. Today is August 28th. And so let's get started with our reading and see what comes up for us. Here we go. Reading for August 28th, Science of Mind, A Philosophy, a Faith, a Way of Life by Ernest Holmes. Reading from page 489, paragraph 5, through page 490, paragraph 7, using inclusive language. Mental expansion. 2 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 18. But we all, with open face beholding as in a glass the glory of the Lord, are changed into the same image from glory to glory, even as by the Spirit of the Lord. As our thought is opened and we behold the image of eternity within ourselves, we are changed by this image into a newness of life. This is accomplished by the Spirit of Creator. The subjective state of thought is the creative medium within us, which fact psychology has proven beyond any question of doubt. Emerson tells us that we are inlets and might become outlets to the divine nature. We are already inlets, but we must consciously become outlets. A great mystic tells us that the upper part of the soul is merged with Creator and the lower part with time and conditions. Plotinus says that when the soul looks to God alone for its inspiration, its work is done better, even though its back is turned to its work. And Jesus tells us to seek the kingdom of God first, and that all else will be added unto us. Now the image of Creator is imprinted upon each one of us, and all reflect the divine glory to some degree. Indeed, we are part of the divine glory. When our thought is turned from limitation to the greater glory, we then reflect that glory. When the subjective state of our thought receives its image from reality, it, in turn, reflects this reality into all that we do. Gradually, as this process takes place, the outer person becomes changed, and as their concepts become enlarged, so their conditions and physique take on a newness of life. And this change in the outer is brought about by the Spirit of Creator. The Spirit of Creator, being the one and only presence in the universe, brings about events and remolds conditions after its own likeness. The ascending scale of life, 2 Corinthians chapter 3, verses 7 through 12. We are changed from glory to glory. This implies that the divine scale is ever ascending. There is no end to the divine nature, and therefore no end to the possibility of our expressing it. But we must behold it. We must look steadfastly into this reality if we are to imagine it in our own minds. Here is no forlorn outlook, no limited concept. All that Creator has or is belongs to us and is ours to make use of. We are not to separate life from living, but unite the two into a perfect one. The thing and the way it works, the glory and the image of the glory in common affairs of everyday life. Nor hath eye seen, nor can tongue tell the greater possibility of any soul. Only Creator has revealed this through its offspring. And this offspring is each one of us, from the apparent least to the apparent greatest. The world is saturated with divinity, immersed in reality, and filled with possibility. We must take this divine possibility and mold it into a present actuality in everyday experience. This is the way to freedom, the pathway to peace and happiness. So what I'm experiencing in today's reading is just another languaging, if you will, of becoming what we already are. Periodically getting messages on my screen that the internet is unstable, so if that's reflecting on your end, just know that's what it's about, and there's nothing I can do about it other than say a quick help to the universe. um, I think words are, for me, let me back up. For me, words have become the key to truly embracing the depth and breadth of this idea, this reality that we are inlets, that we are the thing itself, individualized in form. Um, because every word is a definition. Every definition is an agreement of meaning, and every agreement of meaning is either a limitation or a window to more freedom. And so I begin to reframe things. This idea of my own mind. Uh, I don't use that phrase anymore because there is only one mind. What I say instead is my individualized thoughts and beliefs, because that reminds me that just as they're individualized, I can change them, right? That I am at choice about what I believe. Just because I was raised with certain concepts, conditioned in this human realm to certain beliefs, doesn't mean I have to keep them. I do. I have found it abundantly necessary to own the beliefs that I am holding in order to put them down and pick up new ones. Uh, this on page 490 in the second to the last paragraph. We are not to separate life from living, but unite the two in a perfect one. The thing and the way it works, the glory and the image of the glory in common affairs in everyday life. I often hear people talk about how this physical realm is not real. And I submit to you, as Ernest Holmes did many, many years ago, that everything really is as real as it's supposed to be at its level of expression. Those are Ernest Holmes' words. And that if everything is one absolute reality expressing, that everything in form has to be real because it's made out of absolute reality. It doesn't mean it's permanent. It doesn't mean that it's in alignment with the truth of being. That word glory is an amazing word. In the ancient Greek, in the use of the word glory in most places in the Bible, what it's actually referring to is the moment when human awareness and beliefs are perfectly aligned with the infinite. When that thing that Ernest Holmes talks about, where the self recognizes the self, that is the glory of God as it is used in the ancient Greek in the Bible. And so, yes, from to realize, to make real that glory in our human experience is to embrace it, to understand that we are inlets and outlets of this cause and effect, that our beliefs are, move cause. They're not the cause. Cause refers to the unformed substance of the thing itself. Our beliefs move cause, move consciousness into action, into the activity of law that responds the same to everything. And there is no off switch. So it doesn't matter whether you want law to act on your thoughts and beliefs or not, it does, because that's how it works. That's just how consciousness works. And so we know what is being believed into it based on what is being reflected back to us, because that is, what we experience in form and experience is thought, beliefs made manifest in this human realm. And so when we get things back that we go, ooh, I don't like that, great. What do we want instead? And that's when we do the spiritual practice of aligning things. And it's really that simple. Um, and I personally recommend letting go of the outcome. To know spiritual truth, to continuously do our best to align with it, to stay open, honest, and willing to, okay, this is the outpicturing of belief, to let go of my belief and your belief, right? Because in humanity, in society, we are experiencing the effect of belief. And in what we teach in Science of Mind, one mind, then we have agency to heal, to bring into alignment thought and belief that is operating in mind. First, I have to stop separating myself from it, because when I do that, I, I no longer have the agency that I actually have and am to be a part of the whole healing process, because I've separated myself. And so the only operation that can outpicture, is my belief in separation. And so we have to let go of blame. We have to let go of finger pointing. We have to understand responsibility as our spiritual ability to respond rather than fault or blame, and to stand in and on the agency of the thing itself, which is our agency, and speak spiritual mind treatments of healing thought from separation to wholeness over and over again. And the more we do that, the more healing happens. And when healing happens one place, it must happen every place, because there is only one place, one consciousness. So that's what's available to us, beloveds. Um, and if we get stuck in, well, I don't see it yet, then we're allowing ourselves to be distracted by disbelief, and we will grow our disbelief the more we focus on it, It's just like whatever's in your garden, right? Whatever you're tending in your garden grows. And so faith, just the roughest definition of faith demands that we believe it, whether we ever see it in this physical realm or not. And so, this is just for me. Um, this reading this morning is just another way of languaging. There's only one. Everything is it expressing. And the sooner that is recognized and embraced and embodied, the sooner we come into alignment with it. And so I get to choose to live as if and allow all of the spaces in me to heal that, question that, to stay in the conversation, to stay in the curiosity, to continuously heal, coming into alignment with the truth of being. Or I can choose to stay separate and be miserable. Uh, my experience so far is that's really kind of the options I have. I haven't found a third option yet. And when I am living in separation, even if it's only from the neck up, I have experienced that as miserable. So that's what's alive in me to share this morning. And I'm going to shift us to our time of meditation and contemplation. Here we go. one power, one presence, one substance, consciousness itself, God, Buddha, Allah, the great mystery, the infinite, the beloved, life, love, peace, beauty, infinite intelligence, absolute abundance, reality. So many names, each accurate and yet incomplete. This one being infinite possibility unformed, being unlimited, simply impossible to define it to one idea. And so it is each name, every name, all names, and yet nameless. I know it is real as I recognize it everywhere. And by recognize, I am reminding the brain to know it again, to know what is known at the essence of my being again and again. Everywhere I look, everyone I see, everything I see, to recognize that is the infinite individualizing itself, expressing itself, expanding its experience of itself. No two expressions of this infinite substance, this beingness alike. By design. And so I know that creation is diversity. More than being diverse, it is diversity itself. And it already includes everything of itself, about itself, to itself, by itself, as itself. So I recognize that over and over again. I recognize it. I know it again. Breath to breath, moment to moment, beyond behavior, straight to the truth of being. Identifying the divine spark of being in every expression of it. And uplifting that. And I recognize it within this life that I am living called me. This individualization of a desire in the infinite, limitless consciousness, substance that is life itself, to know and experience itself as me. And as I recognize that, I recognize that what is true of me is absolutely true of everything and everyone, which opens my understanding to affirm, to declare, to experience the wholeness of one creation, the wholeness of one substance, individualized, to heal every sense of separation, to live in relationship with all, to see the truth of being beyond behavior, beyond words, the self, recognizing the self, beyond this individualized self, to recognize the self in every expression of itself. This is the glory. This is that alignment, that harmonious operation of one that I seek to experience. Never seeking to create what already is. I seek to experience what is. And knowing that there is only one happening, there's a wholeness happening. I recognize that what I speak for this individualized self, I am speaking for the whole. And so I'm intentional to speak in that alignment with the harmonious operation of one. First, healing all sense of separation so that I can seek and experience a greater experience and expression of the whole. To fully understand, experience, and integrate the spiritual and the physical as the wholeness that it is. To embrace this physical being as a desire of the infinite to express itself, its humanity. To embrace, to embody, to celebrate the unqualified choice, the power of choice that each and every expression of the infinite is given. No longer willing to condemn choices or the chooser. I recognize that in this world, in this system, in this conscious operation of cause and effect, that the effect that we each set in motion is the natural choice, the natural act of our choices. And that the experiences that we put in motion through our choices informs our next choice when we open to and allow that reciprocal awareness. So I claim and affirm that the reciprocity of awareness, the reciprocity of the cause and effect law of this universe lives, moves, and has its being in glowing awareness within the human awareness. And with it comes the honesty, open-mindedness, willingness to see, to own, to change, to choose again, moving all forms and expressions of the infinite into harmonious operation of one. grateful. Grateful for the ineffable truth that the word spoken is the word made manifest. That it just is the way it is. So all that has been spoken has already been received by the activity of creation that I call law. That independent, wholly objective operation of creation. It doesn't assess, doesn't question, doesn't qualify. It simply creates using all of the infinite everything that is available. It receives the desire to express and manifest that in form and experience. So I know, deep in every fiber of my being, by the resonance of truth, I know it's already done. So I let go. I let go so that no part of my human limitations are interfering with the full manifestation of the perfection of spirit, the perfection of the activity of law. Oh, so that I get out of the way. I let go of all fear, all doubt, all sense of limitation. I let go of all investment in a specific limited outcome. I let go. Ashe. Shalom. Aho. Amen. Amen. And so it is. Namaste.